So let's start with the first one, agent empowerment. So how we actually do that. And some of the examples, as you can see it here in the slide, is we actually have specific role-based dashboards and data available that can help the agent in looking at cases, in looking at questions, and actually start a day-to-day job within their specific dashboard. There's efficient use, there's efficient search capabilities, what they can use, so they can use this search capability to search for customers via their name, via their postal code, their address, and so on. And they can then use out-of-the-box case and knowledge management. So what we mean with that is, yeah, they have a knowledge base in place that can help them in solving questions. And we have specifically added utility processes within case management as well to actually provide a clear view for the agents on how to solve questions like, for example, I want to give you my meter read, or I have a problem with my invoice, etc. So these things I have in the next slides specific screenshots for that. So for example, the role specific dashboards, what you can see here, the contact overview with all the history, etc. But instead of going through the screenshots, I would like to hand over the words to Cindy, who will give a live demo on that. So if I just give control back to Cindy, I'll try to give control back.
Yeah, let's see if I can already start the demo.
Yes.
Thanks, Søren, for the introduction. Normally, you should be able to see my screen with the very first dashboard. So whenever a front office employee who uses MECOMS customer service opens the application, this could be the first screen he sees. Now, this type of dashboard usually is the best dashboard for first-line front office employees to work with. Now, that type of dashboard is not a type of dashboard that the manager would like to see to get an overview on what the team is doing. So this first one gives me a very clear overview on the active cases that are assigned to me, the cases that I've recently resolved, because maybe I need to do some updates on them, some draft emails that I still need to complete, and my activities that I have been working on. That is the view that I get as a first-line front office employee. If I'm a customer service manager, then this dashboard will probably tell me a bit more, because that one gives me some Power BI dashboards and Power BI KPIs, like how many active cases do my individual agents have. So I see that Cindy is quite heavily asked for. Then the cases by SLA, case mixed by priority. Now this is a test environment, so the data is not the same as in a normal live production environment. But as you can see, these dashboards can give you a very clear insight in what is happening in your front office at that particular moment. We have other dashboards as well, which come out of the box, like customer service performance dashboards, which is quite similar to the one of the manager. And you also have specific dashboards on knowledge management. It's also possible to customize and to create new dashboards. That allows us to create dashboards in Power BI using standard MECOMS data. So it can be data of cases and activities, but also more utility-specific data can be displayed on these type of dashboards. So that is the overview on that particular item. The second thing that Søren has been talking about is the extensive search possibilities. So people who are used working with AX 2012 know that, first of all, they have to go to a list page, they have to go to all customers, or they have to go to all connections or something like that, and then start a search on that particular type of data. And that is not always what you like to have. A cross-entity type of search would be a lot more sufficient. So if I use this search possibility and I enter a zip code, which is not working. Let me check. So this one gives me the contacts, and yeah, probably I'm not. If I do the same thing on another type of environment, then I should be able to see the cross-entity lookup. So I entered a zip code, and now he is going to do the search not on one entity, but it gives me all the accounts, all the contacts. Accounts are my companies, which are customers. Contacts are private persons who are customers, and also my metering points, my connections on a particular zip code. So that cross entity search is a very good benefit. Now, if I go at a more specific example, so I have a customer, Sandra Brown, and if I open that particular customer, what you can see here is that timeline that Søren has already been talking about. The timeline, in this case, it shows me some auto-posted messages, but that timeline will give me a clear overview on all the important things that have happened for that particular customer. So if a case has been logged, if they send an email, for example, but also messages like an invoice has been sent to this particular customer will appear in the timeline. So that will already give your customer service officer an immediate overview on all the important things that have happened and what the question might be about. Something else that you can see on this particular screen is the total outstanding amount and the total amount overdue. Very important. Something that a front office employee might want to know if a customer calls with a complaint about an invoice or because they received a reminder letter, the typical type of calls that they will get. You immediately see the outstanding amount. And what is so important about this information is queried directly from within finance and operations. So it's not data that we have synced and that is refreshed every hour or every day, once a day. It is coming directly from finance and operations. So if the bank files and the matching has just been done, then you can be sure that this will give you the most recent information that is available in the back office as well. There is no data duplication involved. The same thing we can show if you navigate to the metering points and the invoices, for example. So again, the data that is displayed here is not stored within customer engagement. It is queried directly from finance and operations. And for the invoices, the same thing. So this information is coming directly from the back office, from MECOMS Finance and Operations. If new invoices have been created or a credit note has been created or whatever, that type of information will immediately be reflected in this overview. There cannot be a delay because we are not synchronizing, we are not duplicating the data. You are looking at exactly the same data as the data that exists within finance and operations. Something else that I'd like to show you here on the summary tab, I have an email address for this particular customer. So that's sandrabrown@test.nl. If I go to the finance and operations, the back office application, yeah, just need to refresh that. And if we take the same customer here, so that was Sandra Brown, we will see the same email address here as well. So let's now update the email address. It's not testnl, but test.com. And we save that information. So now it is saving not only within customer engagement, but also the save is done immediately in finance and operations. So I refresh it and now the email address is updated here as well. The technology that we use here is dual write. It's technology offered by Microsoft, and it enables us to make sure that for the important entities, the important data, like all the customer data that we need both in finance and operations and in customer engagement, that they are kept in sync always at the same time immediately. So whenever you create a customer in finance and operations, The dual write technology will make sure that that customer is immediately created in customer engagement as well. Or the other way around, if you create that customer in customer engagement, it will be created immediately in finance and operations as well. And the same goes for updates. So that is a very important functionality for us, which is offered more or less out of the box by Microsoft. The technology that we use to query the data for metering points, invoices, transactions, etc., that is called virtual entities. So the virtual entity technology allows us to do the queries from within customer engagement directly on finance and operations data. And that is something that Microsoft will announce next week on the Microsoft Business Application Summit, where we have been asked by Microsoft to co-present that technology with them, because that really brings a lot of added value to a solution like ours.